I think that we have to get a federal criminal investigation into ActBlue. Just an investigation. We have to figure out how it's possible. We said this yesterday, that they are able to have this kind of hard money, small money cash advantage. And if there's nothing there, then the investigation will yield nothing. But it's almost certainly some form of foreign, In
general, like foreign money out of politics would be a good goal. What if you even just said like, yeah, we're gonna actually treat FARA more seriously.
Yeah,
you guys use
Federal
this?
Agent Registration
Yeah,
Act.
you guys use this against Paul Manafort. You guys use this against some of our people, and we're just gonna say across the board, all right, we're gonna be a lot stricter in how this is applied.
Well, like that Swiss billionaire.
Yeah, and you could even announce it 6 months in advance and be like, start registering. In 6 months, we're taking this really seriously.
Yep.
Be fair about it.
There other structural stuff, all the border stuff. Stephen Miller's going to just have a feast. We're going to have the most secure border ever.
Yes.
On the trans stuff,
Charlie,
go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, just on that question then, so to get that done, we do need the right personnel. Do you think, what would you put Stephen Miller at, like Secretary of Homeland Security?
No, Deputy
or
Chief of
something
Staff.
Like that?
Deputy Chief of Staff. Here's why. Number
that's
one, Stephen.
Smart.
Yeah, and so number one, Stephen Miller is by far the highest IQ, most based, capable person I've ever dealt with in that kind of Trump policy world. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Number two, Susie's amazing. However, it is unlikely she lasts the entire term. It's nothing against her. There's almost never a chief of staff that lasts the entire term. You couldn't ask me. You couldn't ask me
press
the last time.
secretaries don't last.
No, it's just because it just grinds you down, and it's just like it's a year. Even Rahm Emanuel only lasted a year, right? And then it just grinds you down. So you need a deputy that's ready to then fulfill the mandate, right? And just so we're clear, Tyler, can you please create shirts at Turning Point Action and signs, fulfill the mandate?
Yes.
That is
a great idea.
that is
Should get
the C4s, right? Cliff, all of us, we need to be posting hashtag fulfill the mandate. That right, Jack? That is the 3 words that the base needs to say over the next
and promises made, promises kept.
Oh, by the way, we have some
promise.
We have some Pennsylvania news here, by the way, that's breaking, Cliff, that Jack can walk you through. But let me finish while you guys process this. And I just want to kind of go through this. Is that as we say to fulfill the mandate, the element that Stephen Miller at Deputy Chief of Staff, he'll be able to then basically be the boss of the Department of Homeland Security. In the first term, every cabinet kind of like operated as its own. No. They report to the president. So he'll be able to then go into Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security. He'll be able to kind of swoop into all these things. And there's just so much good stuff that could be done.
It's like what when we've had James Bacon on the show, he's talked about that. There's so much you can do where even if, we've talked about reclassifying federal employees, but he said one of the things that was underutilized is you tell someone, hey, I need you to do this, or I need a report on this, and they'll blow you off. And he said there's huge power of if you send someone, either the secretary themselves or someone with White House, and they say, yeah, where is this? And they're like, we don't have it. And you go, oh, you don't have it? You're fired.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's the other thing.
And then you're fired for cause.
The other thing, day one, that needs to get done is the reclassification. I think I said this, to fire civil service employees at will, and to invoke Schedule F or whatever they call it, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I was just talking about it.
But what's great about that
Not
is
Schedule F,
even without that, you can fire for cause. You can say, yeah, you didn't do your job. You were ordered to do this, and you didn't. You're fired.
Right. And then, honestly, the more ballsy stuff that I'm going to push for is mass reconsolidation, which is, wait, why do we have a Department of Education again?
Yeah.
And you don't need Congress for that. You can actually use it through the Presidential Reorganization Act. And if there's any, it said the law is written that if there is duplication in any agency, you can merge them together. And so there's so many examples of this. Like the EPA and the Department of Energy is a duplication. We don't need 2 different agencies for something that effectively the mandate is the same thing. So EPA gets merged with Department of Energy. Okay. Well, then Commerce, which is another huge one. Commerce might be the most important thing. Why? Census. We messed up. You know that the Electoral College.
It came down 26 votes.
Guys, do you know that, not votes.
There are 26 people.
Do you know that 26 human beings in the U.S. Census in Minnesota gave them an extra electoral vote? Did you know that?
Wow. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, I knew that.
So they gamed the census so bad that they were. So by the way, the Commerce sets the tone for the census every 10 years. So there's just so much there.
Not even just that. There's so much weird stuff. Like for the census, they keep wanting to create new groups to measure in the census for basically the purpose of so we can give them special federal contracts because they're like a discriminated against minority group. So like this upcoming census, they wanted to say, okay, we're creating a new group, MENA, Middle East, North Africa. And so like you'll have a new group that we can hand out, like shovel federal contracts to, because we'll say they're underrepresented. And I feel like it's actually important for us to say, no, we're not going to constantly go inventing new groups for people to be a part of.
Well, and you know why that's even more important is because those new groups that they create then aid the process for them creating majority minority groups when they do redistricting.
Also that, yeah.
And so what happens is, I mean, this is the entire game of doing the census is for the gamesmanship with redistricting at this point. And so you have redistricting, and obviously you have that, but they have to match. So whatever happens with redistricting is where you get the electoral college votes. So this is the problem that we have right now. Is they're completely aware
Totally.
they screwed this up last time, and it was actually COVID that did it.
You know what my dream would be?
So COVID actually prevented. Do you realize this? We were supposed to get another district in Arizona, which they actually wanted because they thought they were going to flip Arizona permanently, and they were going to have 3 Hispanic majority minority districts here, and they didn't get it, and they actually screwed themselves out of one because of COVID didn't allow them to get enough of those numbers for the.
That's amazing.
I want Cliff's ideas, but I just want to say God is so good that if this goes the way that it's trending, God knew what he was doing, not giving us a second Trump term, because all the bad people are gone, and that we are literally building a team on transition and otherwise that's like 90% good. You're going to get 10% bad. It's just going to happen. It's just a rule of nature. You could put him in charge of, the neocon stuff will be the hardest fights. I'm going to be honest. I'm not getting involved in that. Like detaching from some of the deep Pentagon stuff, but like, okay, I'll wage war against the teacher unions. I already have.
Yeah.